guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this reality chat. I had some thoughts that I just wanted to share with you guys and get your thoughts on it. Not going to be before you very long, but for those of you who have not checked out part 1 of Mariah Hucks' interview with the blogger, carlosking. Yes, I'm going to call him that. I know he has a number of other titles, and blogger is one thing that I feel he doesn't like to be called. I may talk about that a little bit more separately, but yeah, the blogger, carlosking. It definitely was a good interview, and I'm saying that because of Mariah. I believe she shared a lot in the first part, and not just so much about Married to Medicine, but just about the things that she's doing, the things that she's venturing into. And she was giving him a tour of her place that she has invested in. And I think that is an amazing thing that she's doing. It's like a co-working space for creatives. And myself being a creative, I just overall, I absolutely love it. I love it. I'm creative when I am creating content or just sharing my thoughts on my YouTube channel and my podcast, as well as I am a creative by trade. I am a licensed esthetician. I am a business owner. I do that more so full time. I'm, also a skincare line creator, and I have been doing that since 2017, the skincare line, I should say. But anyway, just seeing that, I was just like so in awe of it and so proud of what she's doing. But it made me start to think about what she's doing and Nene Leaks. And here's why. Because the news has been going around about Nene possibly coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I think it's a ridiculous thing. I really do. But more so when I see people who are windmilling in comment sections on different Instagram blogs or in comment sections of other people's content talking about they need to bring Nene back to the show. The show has never been the same since she's left. Well, duh. Yeah, the show would not be what it was, like it was when she was on it, because it was what it was when she was there. When she's no longer a part of it, the show did not die. It's had its struggles and its issues, but it's also because of how long it's been on. This is going to be, season 16? Nothing is ever going to be the same after that period of time. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same. Everything is temporary, right? So with that being said, Nene did a lot to cause her to not be on the show anymore. I'm not saying that racism didn't exist. I'm not saying prejudice didn't exist. I'm not saying that favoritism did not exist. I'm not saying that all of her feelings were not valid. I'm not saying those things at all. But ever since that time, she hasn't been on the show. We've just heard a lot about, they're not giving me this. They're blocking me from this. I've been blackballed. Like, the blackball thing, let's just be honest, okay? Blackballing is a real thing, but I feel that the term blackballing sometimes is used in a blanketed way that really isn't fair. And I'm speaking from an employer standpoint, right? I can give you an example, and then I'm going to get a little bit more into that. I can remember many years ago, I had someone that worked in my business. She had a supporting role, but she left in a very negative way. And not just the way that she left. Prior to her leaving, she was slacking on the job. She wasn't doing a lot of things, and I'm still paying her to do the job. And I'm one of those people, I feel like I would rather you fire yourself than me fire you, because I don't want you going and filing for unemployment benefits on my dime so that you can get a check to not work when you really had cause to be fired. And in the state that I reside in, if you fire someone with cause and you can prove it, they don't qualify for unemployment benefits. But just having to even deal with that, I would rather not do it. I would rather not even have to deal with that system. I would rather you just quit, because when you quit, that's it, right? So when I say fire yourself, I mean you just don't want to be here anymore and you just quit. But With that being said, there were a lot of things that were done, and I'm not going to go into all of that because I'm just not, but I'm just basically using this as an example. Almost immediately, another company called my business to confirm the person's employment. Of course, I confirmed their employment. And then they asked me a question. They said, would you hire this person to work in your company again? And if not, why? And I was honest. I said, no, I would not hire this person to come back. They left in a very negative way, and a number of things that were supposed to be done were not, were not completed. I didn't go into a whole lot of depth or details, and I wasn't trying to disparage their character, or I wasn't even trying to stop them from getting another job, but I was honest about what was asked of me, right? I don't know. They could have still hired the person. I really have no idea because I didn't call to confirm or follow up. I don't follow the person, didn't care. Wish the best for you. You're no longer working, in my establishment. Fine. But I was honest about what I was asked. Did I go around town trying to trash the person's character or writing about her on social media or putting up posts saying if anyone, gets a resume or whatever from this person, don't hire? No, I'm not doing that. I was just honest about the question that was asked of me. So I'm just using that as an example. That's not me blackballing that person from working. That's me answering questions and being honest about the person that worked in my business. So it's possible that Nene had other opportunities, and because Hollywood is a small town and they know who she was working with, of course they're going to have conversations with those people, right? And so I'm not saying that there may not have been any ill intent at all by anyone, just using an example, Andy Cohen. But you can't expect Andy Cohen to give raving, highlights and reviews of Nene and working with her when she left and she was trashing the network, telling people, boycott Bravo, boycott The Real Housewives of Atlanta, don't watch, they're racist. Andy is a racist, alleging that he uses drugs, and expecting him to say, yeah, I know you all greenlit this project for Nene. You're asking me about her. But yeah, go ahead and do it. Of course, he's going to be honest about his feelings to say, well, I wouldn't work with her again. I'm not saying that he may not have said you all shouldn't do it, but what if he didn't? What if they just asked how she was, and not even just ask how she was working with her, but because, like I said, Hollywood is small and they could see all of the things they were doing that was going on, they decided to pull back. So I don't believe that Nene was blackballed by others. I believe she blackballed herself. Let's just be honest. I don't believe it was like a Monique thing. That I believe that's a different situation where I do believe Monique was blackballed, period, for calling truth to the carpet, and Oprah and Tyler Perry and Lee Daniels, and not paying her worth and all. Like, that's a completely different situation. So I don't agree with the term Nene being blackballed. I believe that if you want to use that term, she blackballed herself. Monique actually was blackballed, okay? So I just wanted to go a little bit into depth with that. So getting off of that tangent, Nene has been rumored that she might be possibly coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know if I really believe that one. I really don't. But I've heard some rumblings of that. We've seen some things on social media about her doing some photo shoots for magazines and things like that. Okay, fine, cool, happy for her. But also about her hosting the Baddies reunion on Zeus. I'm sorry, if you watch Zeus and if you watch Baddies and whatever, fine. I'm not knocking you. I'm just basically saying I feel that even though it's a check for Nene, it's definitely a downgrade. But because Nene is more of an employee than an entrepreneur, it honestly is right up her alley, because she's been looking for people to give her opportunities, not working to create her own. Even when she did a little snippet after she did this thing with Bethany, where I talked about that. I felt like Bethany was using her. It was an opportunity for Bethany, and Nene couldn't see it because, again, she's looking for people to give her opportunities. She can't see the forest for the trees. She did the thing with Bethany, and then she came on her YouTube channel that she's had for years, apparently, and she was doing these little blogs. Fine. But again, if she was not having this mindset of an employee where she was seeking for people to give her opportunities, give me a check, I'll work for a check you give me, versus creating her own. She talked about how she was supposed to have a talk show and Wendy stopped her bag and all this other stuff. Girl, you could have went out there and created your own podcast. Would it have been the same? And I know she tried to do that little thing with the 3 guys and people were trashing that. I'm sorry. I just think that the way she was doing it and how she tried to do it, talking about hot topics and whatever, I just didn't think that was her thing. She probably should have been doing what Bethany did before Bethany did it, which was talking about the housewives. She was no longer part of the franchise, but she kept trying to get back in by trashing them. So basically it's saying, for those people who are rooting so hard for Nene hasn't been rooting for herself. She's been waiting for people to give her opportunities, and so much time has passed her by. Now, I know she had her husband who's no longer here. He has passed on, rest in peace. And so, yeah, people can say, oh, she had a lot going on. But it's the mindset, people. It is the mindset. I'm going to tell you, because we're not going to compare the lives and the lifestyles, because we know Mariah, she's married to an amazing man who does definitely has sustenance, has a great career. He really takes care of his wife, but she also is a boss. She is an entrepreneur. She created the concept of Married to Medicine. She didn't give it the name. She admitted that, but the show is hers. She created that. All of that. Her husband didn't do that for her. She did that. So her husband can't take credit for it. So I don't think it matters if Mariah was married to somebody who was working at Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah, it may have been a little bit harder to get, you know what I mean? But I'm just basically saying it helps to have the support 100%. But the mindset is the most important thing. And Mariah is an entrepreneur. Nene is not. She just isn't. She's proven that after all of these years. And honestly, I'm not knocking that. That's fine, because everyone isn't meant to be an entrepreneur. Everyone really isn't. But even if you are an employee, you can't expect people to give you anything either. You have to work for it. And all of these years, Nene has been really wanting people to give her opportunities to get a jet. Like, period. Because all of the years that she was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I do believe a lot of that got to her head. It really did. And I'm going to, I have to find this clip, because I was listening to this, blogger, and it was a call-in show. And this guy called in, and he really gave Nene the business, and it was so on point. I need to find that so I can do a reaction to it and share it with you guys. So I'm going to mark that on my list of reminders so I can get that and share it with you guys. But I even forgot about that. That actually just came back to me as I was speaking about this just now. But saying all of that to say, comparing Mariah to Nene, all of the years that Mariah has not been on Married to Medicine, and this is what she has been having in the works and what she has been doing, and all of these years that Nene has not been on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and we just keep hearing about, they did this to me, they did that to me, they stopped this, they stopped that, I was supposed to have this, they were supposed to give me that. Girl, and Mariah was over here building in the background. I absolutely love it. I'm not here to knock Nene from hosting the Baddies reunion on Zeus, because it's a check. And I'm quite sure she could use it. I know she's got that outstanding judgment against her for the rent for the Lanithia Lounge that was closed down, that she tried to pass the buck on her deceased husband because the lease was in his name, which was crazy. I never talked about that. But anyway, amongst other things, you're still wanting to live a specific type of lifestyle, and you're not making that lifestyle money anymore. You got to do what you got to do. You either have to downsize and work some other jobs to get that money, or whatever. I don't know. I really just wanted to talk about that, guys, because I really find it so tiring when I hear people saying they need to bring Nene back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I feel like that ship has sailed, and people need to just go ahead and let that ship continue to go out into the middle of the sea. Leave it alone. It's not coming back to the dock and and loading Nene on it again. In my personal opinion, I'm no genius on the housewives, so who knows? Anything is possible, but I would be absolutely stunned if it happened. I really would, because I feel that time that they brought her back on and she was trying to make amends with people and apologizing and whatever, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see her coming back on there either on a high horse as well. So I don't know. I just wanted to share my thoughts on that, because Mariah definitely is a great example of when they do you wrong. If you feel they do you wrong, this is how you go about leveling up. And you do it in silence. She's been working in the background. She hasn't been out here posting all the time and sharing updates about what she's going to do or what. Look, I love it. I love it. She's a Libra. My husband is a Libra. I kind of get that. And I really just love to see, her finally getting the opportunity to just share the truth, not her truth, the truth about what actually had happened and what is going on. And I'm ready for part 2 of the interview. But Nene hosting the Baddies reunion, Zeus, congratulations. Get your money, do what you got to do. But entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. And that's okay. That's fine. So let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section, guys. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.